The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
It's easy to find flooring online, but imagining those floors on your floor? A bit trickier. So Lumber Liquidators made Picture It, which adds our floors to a photo of your space. Just point, snap, and choose a floor. It's great if you're looking for new floors. Also, still fun if you're not. Try Picture It, only at llflooring.com. These are the floors homes are built on. Lumber Liquidators Flooring. Choose from our selection of quality floors and get special financing. Visit llflooring.com for a store near you.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
All right, it's 3:08. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And, it's the 4th of July show, everybody. No, wait.
This is going to come out this weekend.
Oh, that's right. So, never mind. It's a pre-4th of July show, everybody. Yay!
And next week's show will be 4th of July show.
Oh,
So, yeah, you can celebrate by listening to a podcast.
time has had no meaning for 4 months now, so. The only time I know it's the weekend now is I golf. Hey, I got golf coming up. It's the weekend.
I can't say that I've necessarily looked forward to a 4th of July since maybe I was, say, 8 or 9. But this one I'm looking forward to the least, I would say, out of any previous 4th of July. And I'm not trying to be some America hater. I'm not a big birthday celebrator in general. So, whole country has a birthday, like, yay. But people are going to be at each other's throats. Like, there's going to be a number of people doing stuff this holiday that a lot of other people are not going to like.
Hey, media, if you can hear us, I'm tired of the stories about people arguing with people who are wearing masks and who aren't wearing masks. We get it. There are two different factions. There's like one a day, right? Of somebody who's pissed off that's not wearing a mask, that they have to wear a mask, and vice versa. Like, ugh.
Right. These are stupid fights that happen all over the world on a daily basis that nobody reports on, but now because it's coronavirus related, every one of these stories is a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't a mask, two people are arguing over one guy's wearing a Leonard Skinner shirt and the other guy's wearing REO Speedwagon.
Yeah.
Like, people just argue over shit, argue over the way other people look and what they're doing and what they perceive their politics to be.
I can't even think about I checked out social media like 2 weeks before George Floyd got killed. Great time. I can't even imagine what social media is like the last month. It's got to be insane.
I don't know where somebody's brain is at when they decide that they need to cough on somebody else's baby to prove a point.
Yeah, like all these things, the regular news is I just can't even. I don't even want to open my Facebook and look what's going on. I haven't popped open Twitter in weeks. Just what filters to me just in my Google News feed is just insane to me.
Sorry. Why can't I think of the word, what I do on Twitter? I want to say my involvement on Twitter, but I'm not involved with Twitter. My action on Twitter, I'm not taking action. What I do on Twitter, what am I doing on Twitter?
Read?
My
engagement?
My Twitter engagement has been rather low and rather surface level. I just want to see your cats and your comics, and that's it.
Yeah. I can understand that. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Show me your cats, your comics, or your boobs.
I don't care about your politics. I'm over you and your politics. just as you should be over me and my politics.
Occasionally, I will, if there's a lot of chatter about a story, I will go and seek news stories about that story. I will not try and get my news from Twitter. It does a good job of sometimes alerting me to breaking stories, but what good is that really? Like, I get to be on the cutting edge of news to do what with,
Yeah, I mean, it only really helps if it's
action am I
local.
taking?
Hey,
Sure.
there's a tornado heading for your neighborhood. All
Yes,
right.
that's-
Thank you, news.
Literally news you can use.
Yes. There's a giant fireball heading for the Metro Detroit area. Thank you, news.
I didn't watch any news yesterday, and I was quite surprised when a large thunderstorm appeared out of nowhere and took out my internet for 12 hours.
Oh, no.
I could have used some news, but that's fine, Again, the world didn't end.
You got an iPhone app? You don't have the Weather Channel?
Yeah. If I would have known ahead of time, I would have, charged my phone.
I guess,
Right,
was there a lot of sitting in your car yesterday?
No, we didn't lose power.
Oh.
We just lost internet.
There's a lot of sitting on the phones, tied to an outlet.
Anyway, so I did catch up on some news before the podcast today to find out what's going on. Oh, first of all, let's talk about a little bit about weed in the weed during the pandemic, right? Cannabis in the time of coronavirus. How's your acquisition of cannabis going? Same?
Fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had it delivered.
You're still getting it delivered? Have you been notified of any of your local shops opening up? They're opening up their insides?
No.
That sounds gross.
Right. No. I mean,
Opening up their insides to the public.
Yeah, the last time I dealt with them, I ended up getting it delivered, but I called and they said, because it was at the beginning of May when things started, loosening up, and they were like, yeah, you can come in, but you got to let us know, and you got to wear a mask, and it's one at a time. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll just still get delivered.
You're still delivering, right?
Yeah. So, but I haven't heard anything about like, hey, it's back to normal, just come in with a mask.
It lasted half a day at my local dispensary.
Because
I got notices, hey, tomorrow our lobby will be open. You can come in and shop as long as you wear a mask and socially distant. And then that morning they were like, come on in, our lobby's open. And that afternoon they were like, our lobby is shut down until further notice.
is it the same day that Big Gretch said we're holding up on phase 5? Was that same day?
I'm not. I don't know.
She did
I kind of assumed that it was because people weren't following the guidelines or causing a ruckus, and they were like, "Why? Why did we even change this? Then we're doing fine having people do drive-through."
Yeah, we've proven we cannot behave, and I don't understand that. It's all in the name of not getting sick. Like, if I got to wear a mask for the next few months till they get a vaccine going, I'm fine. If I can just go out and do things normally. It's just kind of like, treat everything like you do at the grocery store. Wear a mask, stay away from everybody.
Yeah,
You're fine.
I'm not living anyway. Different topic. We're talking about cannabis during coronavirus. Same old then. I guess, prices are still high on the recreational side. They still have about the same selection, and they thought they could go back to normal, and it didn't work out.
Well, they should still probably, they could probably just regulate people inside. But then again, you'll have, like, remember all that shit in New York? Then you have people just standing in line outside. Like, that's not how this works.
I think standing in line outside is better than inside, at least. That's an improvement.
Yeah, it's at least ventilated, but then still, if you're still nuts to butts outside, like, it's still, I want to breathe your air.
I never understood why people had to wait in line so close to each other in the first place.
Right.
Like, we should always have been socially distancing because it's just respectful, right? Don't breathe down the neck of the person in front of you. And what do you think? That Eddie Haskell is going to come and try and jump in front of you? Hey,
there are people shitty enough to do that.
Where are the line cutters? You think? I mean, how do you get away with that? You're just going to walk up and be like, oh, there's this huge space in between these people here.
Oh, remember waiting in line for concert tickets back in the day? People would do that shit all the time.
What? Would they?
Yeah, it happened to me a couple times. waiting outside Lakeside Mall.
They would do the thing where they would try and come up and be like, they'd start a conversation like they knew the person.
No, people just straight up, like,
And then-
we all waited in line. Several times we'd wait in line outside the mall because the mall wasn't open. And then as soon as they open up the doors, everybody just start running. Like we all didn't just wait.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, oh, really?
Right, but
That's how
somebody
you're
didn't just
playing this?
like,
Fuck
somebody
this.
just didn't walk down the line like whistling Dixie and then just try and dive in a gap and hope that nobody notices. I mean, I understand the crowding when the actual doors open, but actual line cutters, not a thing. Not a thing since high school.
You haven't been to the airport in a while, have you?
I guess not.
No, all the time.
They constantly have to lay down the, hey, no cuts, no butts, no coconuts.
Don't people just walk? They'll just be like, "Sorry, they'll be like, I'm later than you," and they'll just walk in front of you. Straight up, like my flight's running late. Oh, really? Oh, and I'll just be
Just
like,
go.
"Oh, so,
Hey, I'm from Detroit.
well, no, I'll just be like, oh, do you have to catch a flight? Oh, everyone in this fucking building has to catch a flight, asshole."
Yeah.
No, it's usually at Detroit where the
that's
people
fine.
are cutting in line.
I'm just here to ask a question of the woman at the desk. My flight's not for a couple days.
Yeah,
I just want to make
We're
sure
ahead
that
of
they're going to
time,
have
buddy.
nuts on the flight. And I was passing by, I had some time to kill. I've taken a long lunch, and I figured, hey, let's go check in with June at the American Airlines counter.
I'm here planning my route for 2 days from now.
Last time I was at the counter, her daughter was graduating. I got to hear about how that went. No, I'm here to catch a fucking flight like everybody else is.
Yeah, then now people do that all the time.
I've killing time. People watch. Don't you like to people watch? Sometimes I just get in the line because, I'm bored.
I've never had the balls to do that, but I've seen plenty of people do it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm running late. And they just they'll walk up in front of everyone, talk to the agent. And then the agent lets them through.
Sorry. Oh, so sorry. Oh,
That's the thing, is then they reward the bad dog. That's usually what pisses me off. Hey, maybe if this person misses their flight, they'll fucking think again next time, and they'll fucking leave 10 minutes earlier.
Could be circumstances beyond their control, right? The problem is you don't thoroughly believe that they are actually late and not that they are just in a hurry to get through this mass of people and go sit on the plane for 45 minutes.
In the days of everyone has a smartphone and you can plan your drives on Google Maps and Waze, there's no more excuses. Like it knows.
We're beyond excuses on this shit.
They know
you're right.
it knows
on that.
about construction. It tells you, it's going to take you if you want to be there. Like with Waze, I say I want to be there at this time, and it's like, all right, you got to leave at this time. And it knows about delays and all that shit. And Waze even tells you, hey, if something comes up, hey, you got to leave in 10 minutes. There's been plenty of times where I'm just about to step in the shower, and Waze is like, hey, you got to leave. And I'm like, fuck. Apparently, there's an accident or something. Like, there's no more excuses, man. AI's everywhere.
Between technology and coronavirus, you have no excuses for anything, right? You can't be like, I'm busy that night. You can't be like, I can't do your podcast. I have plans. You can't be like, I didn't get your message.
Correct. Well, especially if you got an iPhone and you have read receipts on.
Yeah.
Or you have Facebook Messenger. Fuck you. I saw you. You at least looked at it. You opened it and looked at it. You're aware of its presence.
Yeah. You look at it out of reflex and oh fuck, unread. Can I undo this?
Shit, they saw that I saw it.
They need to give you a 5-second delay on that.
Yeah.
Like I think Outlook does that for my emails. If I click on an email real quick and then click on another one, it doesn't automatically mark it as read because it knows that I'm not Bill Gates. And I don't speed read my emails. So Messenger needs to give me like a 5-second, oh shit, I didn't see that one. So what was going on in the news this week? There was the death of Milton Glaser. Do you know who that is?
I do not. Who's that?
You know the I Heart New York logo?
Yes.
He did a lot of things that actually a lot of people are familiar with. And I think so familiar with that you don't even think about somebody designing it.
Really?
Well, I Heart New York is a perfect example.
That's iconic. That guy got paid. I hope he got paid for that. 'Cause that thing is everywhere.
He also designed, well, if you look them up, because some of these things, I don't know if by describing them, you'll be like, oh yeah, that. But there's a very famous psychedelic poster of Bob Dylan where he's got the crazy hair. It's him in profile, and his hair's all like multicolored.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, look at Milton Glaser and look at images. You'll see. He also did the DC Bullet logo, which I want to say would have been like 70s era. So you know what the Bullet logo is? It's the DC logo that I think most people associate with DC. Maybe not younger audiences, but you have the logo looks like the back end of a bullet. And DC is in the center circle, and it's tilted at roughly 40, I want to say 45 degrees maybe. And it's got 4 stars on the outer ring.
Yeah, this Dylan thing, that's an album, isn't it? Looking at these images.
I think it was just a poster, and they might have used it for like a best of or some shit.
Yeah, I think that's...
But I just know it as a poster.
Oh, hey, the kids will know. He did the Obama Hope photo.
I thought that was Shepard's Ferry.
It is featured prominently when you click on his images, when you type in on his Google page.
Wow, I always thought that was Shepard's Ferry. I did not know that. That is wild. I did not know that.
So there you go, 20-somethings. That's how you know this guy. This bird thing that he has, this looks like it was on a jazz album somewhere.
What's the bird thing?
There's one where it's a bird made out of a bunch of birds. It's very
kind of like Escher style.
Well, it's kind of like in the vein of the Dylan.
Right. Oh yeah, the dove with all the
Yeah, that was that a Santana album?
I don't know, I think it's just, I mean, it influenced. He was part of what kind of became known as that 60s style. So I think his influence on album covers went on. I think he was a designer and a painter, but I'm not seeing a lot of his stuff actually popping up on album covers. But it's like the guy who designed the smiley face, right? It's one of those things, the I Heart New York and the smiley face are both things that we've seen everywhere and mutated into many different things. You know, I Heart whatever, they could put in 2 initials has been on a shirt. And
there's a company called I Heart Media.
Right. Yeah, just using heart. Using heart in place of love.
Yeah.
And so we don't even think about these things as like these innovative design ideas. They were just like, something that really caught on, like a pet rock or something. But these were actually designed. I mean, Milton Glaser had to make decisions of, he had to pick a font and decide how it should be spaced. Mm-hmm. And the colors that are used. And he went for something that is really simple, but it was so simple and so instantly recognizable. And that's the thing, like, it seemed like even at the time, nobody knew what it meant to heart something. Nobody said, I heart that show. I heart Dukes of Hazzard. It's my favorite show, right? But when you saw a shirt that said, I heart New York, you knew exactly what it meant, what they were saying.
He's the heart emoji. You've been influenced by this guy.
It was the combination of recognizable images and simple placement of them that was like instant communication.
So what we're saying is emojis are this guy's fault. Not really.
Well, that's pretty much an early emoji.
Yeah.
It's like an early meme.
Yeah, it definitely was it definitely was ahead of its time, and this means replacing a symbol for a word.
And something that you can still buy decades later. You can go into how many different stores in New York,
dude,
outside of New York.
Yeah, when I used to go there
buy an
regularly, there's a store in the airport called I Heart New York, and it's all sells is shit with that on it.
And was also part of what was like a rebranding campaign, right? The 70s was not a good look for New York. It was not a good time.
I keep hearing about
New York was getting lumped in with Detroit and
the Times
San
Square
Francisco
I know about is awesome. Apparently, it used to be awful.
Yeah.
Like, you take your kids there now and shit. There's like the M&M
Right.
stores there. And I guess
And
it
all-
used to have, like,
all these cop shows that were, you know, their shows were themed and were set in New York, so that's why it was just known for crime. That's where the famous story about the woman being, you know, murdered in an alleyway, and everyone heard the screams and nobody did anything about it. That happened in New York. You know, New Yorkers were getting to get a certain reputation, and I think that I Heart New York was part of that. No, you know what? We're really just proud and passionate, right? We're not mean and grisly and isolated. You just don't get New Yorkers. New Yorkers, being a New Yorker was kind of its own thing, and we're really proud and passionate of this.
there's still a bunch of assholes who wear it on their sleeve, though.
And was
the impression I got going there, though. Like, they love being like, it's like, I'm from New York. It's like, but we do it here in Detroit. You just use it as a crutch to be a dick.
Yes, you're really proud of your city because you bought the shirt for $20 in, in Mexican Town that has, welcome to Michigan with a handgun on it or something like that. Welcome to Detroit, have a nice day with a gun pointed at you. Like, we're really tough, dude. Shit really goes down in Detroit.
My favorite when I was a kid was Detroit, where the weak are killed and eaten.
Yeah, right.
Always made me laugh. But yeah. At Times Square in the 70s, it was. I mean, it had the rep. It was, what was it? It was a bunch of adult movies, peep shows, all that crap, hookers.
That's what. What was the HBO show about?
With Franco.
Yes. What the fuck do they call that show?
See, there's too much TV.
It's too much shit. That's what that show was about, though. It was about what happens to all the people when the cops come in and decide to go, oh, we'll just start corralling this shit. And, we'll say, oh, you can have it over here and we won't bother you. And then we can clean up this area. But really, they're just trying to make those areas smaller and smaller until they can crush them under their heel.
The Deuce.
The Deuce.
I had to look it up. I didn't remember it.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to sold.
Pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
Oh, there's Taylor.
Oh, yeah. It's time for fireworks.
Especially this time of year, too. It's a week before the 4th of July.
Oh, boy.
Oh, next Saturday, it's going to sound like there's a firefight going on next week.
Dude, just on an average night. I mean, the other night, the neighbors were out on their front lawn drinking and listening to Southern rock or shitty rap country, and somebody lights off what sounded like a half stick of dynamite. And the whole neighborhood's like, what the fuck? Like, give us a warning at least. Jesus Christ. People's car alarms are going off.
I hate those assholes. I should be friends with people like that. No more.
Yeah, go do that in a state where you have, people walking around with PTSD and concealed carry licenses.
Right. No, I used to have neighbors when I was at my parents' house when I was a kid that every 4th of July, and yeah, they would, hey, I got an M100, which is essentially like a quarter stick of dynamite. Like, why? Or half a stick. Why? Why do you have that?
Yeah.
And yet.
Hey.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to transition, but if you were...
No, go ahead.
Still some hot firework talk.
No,
Yeah,
I'm all set with the hot firework talk.
All right. All right. No, speaking of the DC logo, there was some kind of crazy DC news this week, too. Did you hear that Michael Keaton is in talks to reprise his role as Bruce Wayne?
Why? Explain this to me. I don't understand.
Because it's fucking perfect. Because it's fucking genius. Like, it's insane, first of all, that this could even happen.
I want to see old Batman.
Yes, we want to see old Batman. The Dark Knight Returns is a classic story of Batman history, and people have been trying to figure out a way. I mean, they were incorporating a lot of that into Batman versus Superman. They just didn't really nail it. You know, The Dark Knight Returns was grizzled old Batman comes out of retirement, right? He's been working behind the scenes, and he puts on the suit for one last time because Superman's out of control, and Joker's gone, but the whole world is like influenced by him. And they've been looking to try and get a lot of those great elements from those stories into the movies, and they've had limited success. Another thing that they've had limited success with is Flashpoint. That's another big story to the DC universe. And Flashpoint involves Flash traveling to alternate universes, alternate histories of the DC universe. Even one in which there's a Batman that's not Bruce Wayne. It's actually Bruce died in the alley. Batman is Thomas Wayne, who's destroyed over the loss of his son, and is a much more vengeful and bloodthirsty and gun-toting Batman. So there were thoughts that he could play either one. He could either return, because I don't even think this is rumor. I think what it was confirmed that they're looking at him for is the Flash movie, which who knew that was actually still going to happen, especially considering the fact that Ezra Miller strangled a fan at some event. Did you hear this story?
No.
They're at and it looks to be some sort of, I don't know, maybe it's a movie premiere or something like that. Somewhere where it looks like there would be fans and cameras and people wanting to interview other people, and somebody says something to him, and it looks like he could almost be joking, or maybe it's just, he was playing and it went too far, but he literally puts his hands around, he leans in, puts his hands around this woman's throat, this girl's throat, and chokes her. I have no idea how hard he's actually choking her, but he grabs her and leans into her enough for them to fall over. Damn. And I don't even know if it was explained as he was exhausted or whatever, or I don't know, or it was a joke taken too far. But anyway, that all being said, that apparently the Flash movie is happening. Apparently Michael Keaton is in talks to return as an older Batman. You can hear everybody's going off. Michael Keaton is going to be coming back as an older Batman, and I mean, that's all we really know. But we're supposing that this is going to involve the Flash traveling to an alternate history of the DC universe to see a different version of Batman.
Batman collecting Social Security.
Batman.
So Alfred's way dead, right?
I would imagine so. I would imagine so. Well, he's dead in the comics. Yeah. In current continuity, he's dead. In any time that we've looked this far forward into Batman's future, yeah. There's, sometimes Alfred gets uploaded as AI or something like that, but he's dead. But that's the thing is, part of the Batman story has become lineage, has become what you pass down to other generations, and how the previous generations can be helpful. So, Alfred is, in just about every version of Alfred that we've seen, his actual involvement varies from just being privy to and assisting to Batman and Robin to actually, going out on missions at times. He's been reinvented as having a history himself of being in the military, being in a spy organization. That's what the show Pennyworth is about. And in most versions that we see in both film and comics and others, he is, working in the Batcave, doing assist, the technical assist. And so there's this lineage that follows. So like every time that we've looked into the future of Batman, Alfred may retire or pass on, but Batman then becomes the guy in the Batcave. And somebody else, whether they take over the cowl or not, is taking over that primary position and having other people that they are tutoring, their own Robin. So there's this idea that, what Bruce Wayne is creating, it goes beyond him. That's part of the repair of fighting crime, not just for vengeance, for having your family destroyed, but as a way of creating a new family. And as fucked up as I am and what I've chose to do is I can still find ways to reach out and create, it's like a great allegory for our times. We go through terrible loss, we go through terrible events, and we move on, and even though we lose people, we find ways to create new family. Or hopefully we do. Hopefully we find ways to, even though we still feel messed up and we still feel like dark and distorted inside, even Batman, even brooding, like nothing's going to talk him out of his crazy one-man war, Batman can find a way to reach out and admit that he needs other people sometimes.
So what you're saying is Batman's the one that's going to get us out of this mess that we're currently in.
No,
Batman's coming to save us.
So ultimately, why is Michael Keaton a good idea to come back as Batman to reprise that role, or just Bruce Wayne? It's because not only just because it plays into the nostalgia and something that DC's has a very good success with, playing into the nostalgia and the alternate universe versions of these heroes, but also because it adds to something to the story of Batman that hasn't been as easily transferred to the big screen. And that is this history, this lineage. That's something that has been explored by many, many writers in the comic books, because they have this continuity that they can play into, and they can go, oh, well, all this matters, and all these Robins matter, and all this thing happened, and here's why this all, adds up to this version of Batman that I believe is the ultimate version of Batman. Given that your average reboot of Batman is only going to last like 2-3 movies tops, and he's constantly getting rebooted, we don't get that lineage. We don't get like what they've set up in the Marvel movies, where Captain America and Iron Man get to hand down what they've built to that quote-unquote next generation and have it mean something beyond themselves. Batman just keeps getting rebooted. I mean, we were introduced to a Robin in the Christopher Nolan trilogy that never happened. We were promised something that was never delivered on. We get these hints that there is something bigger that Bruce Wayne is building, but we never stick long enough with one Bruce Wayne to see what that would ultimately look like.
It's too fragmented, is what you're saying.
It is too fragmented, and they need to bring this together. And part of what putting Michael Keaton in that role again is saying, this all matters, right?
It's not back to 1989.
And that there isn't one ultimate version. You can have your favorite version of Batman, but there isn't one ultimate version. There's many different translations of this character.
Was Val Kilmer ever? He was Batman for a second, wasn't
he? He wasn't a great Batman. I didn't think he was bad. I like Val Kilmer in general, and so
he was the one after Keaton, right? He was between Keaton and Clooney.
Yeah, that was a hard role to fill.
And Clooney was nipple Batman.
Yes. Yeah, he was in the Joel Schumacher version of Batman, which actually Joel Schumacher, he did 2 Batman movies. Batman and Robin was the one that he really had to apologize for. and say that like that was a movie that just got out of hand. But he was also in the news today because he passed away this week, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Not a big contributor to the Batman mythos as it stands, but I think you have to get, like, whether you thought his movies were successful or not, the crazy thing about Joel Schumacher's legacy is that he tried a lot of different things. He wasn't one of these directors who was like, oh, I got, people really took to, whatever movie, like, I don't know, Taken or, I don't know, or John Wick or something. Like, people really took to me doing this kind of movie, so I'm going to make a whole franchise on this. Right? He was like, I did this type of movie and I kind of want to do something else. And really, look at his IMDb. I think you'll be surprised at how many movies this guy directed or produced and how various they actually are.
I was going down a Batman movie rabbit hole. Joel Schumacher, IMDb.
Well, another crazy thing when you're looking into that, another kind of similar casting decision that DC did is they said that they're going to bring Ryan Reynolds into the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie.
They're going to make us. They're just going to.
It's insane that they're doing this. It sounds like they might have they expect to get enough new material to string this into like a mini series and actually tell a different story. And I think Green Lantern was supposed to be part of that originally. And they just, I think maybe the studios decided, let's not try and shoehorn too many new characters into here. But this is a way where they can have a familiar character, although not really a successful take on a character. But that being said, if Ryan Reynolds does what he did for Deadpool, brings a little of that lightheartedness, I think that could definitely benefit, especially if you're expecting. Green Lantern
suck, though?
It did suck. But if you're going to tell me that there's a now, 8-hour version of Justice League that I can watch, I hope that you mix it up a little bit. Because if it's going to be as grim as the 2.5-hour version that I already saw, I think I have my fill.
Right?
There better be something to break up the monotony in there, and maybe they'll actually pull this off. Who knows? Again, I like that they're trying shit. Like, do I think Kanye West selling his gear through Gap is going to be successful? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying it.
We'll get it to Whitey that way. There's been 13 Batman movies? Well, since the Keaton
I would have thought more. Since Keaton, so you're not even counting Batman the movie.
There was 3 before that. There was one in 43, one in 49, one in 66.
Those weren't full features, though, were they? I mean, there's an old Batman where the serials where he's driving around.
There was a 66 one with Adam West and Burt Ward. That was an actual movie.
Yes, that was a movie, yeah. But the older ones, the 40s and 50s, I don't know, maybe there was.
No. Yeah, that was 15 chapter serial.
Yeah.
And then 43, 15 chapter theatrical serial. So the first movie would probably be the Adam West one.
Yes. But even that
there's 14 if you count.
It was a TV movie.
Batman Mask of the Phantasm, if you count that one, there's been 14. That was a full length.
That was animated.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, if you're counting animated movies, there's way more than that.
Mm-hmm. Well, but they're counting.
But
Wikipedia,
theatrical releases, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Wikipedia is also counting The Suicide Squad, the Lego Batman movie, Justice League, Joker, and then The Batman. That'll be number 14.
I get why people are, a lot of people are very protective of their version of Batman. I understand that, and I appreciate that, people are, that a character, a piece of fiction has touched a lot of people in ways that they feel like they have some sort of ownership over it. But what we also know is that you just can't kill this character. You literally can't kill him. Like, Batman will always come back. No matter who fucks it up, no matter how much they distort it, or if they put a gun in his hand, or they make him into the Joker, or they, they can stretch him and pull him in many different directions, and somebody else is going to come along and go, no, this is my version of Batman. and pull them more back into line. And there was a question asked of Brian Edward Hill, is a comic book writer, one who's doing a Batman story, Batman and the Outsiders, in DC Comics currently, and one of my favorite comic book writers. And he was on Word Balloon podcast, and he was asked about canon and how you write something that you want to be considered canon for this character. What additive thing can you bring to a character or a team or a story that people are already familiar with? What can you add to that will live on and be part of the new story of this character? And he said that canon isn't decided by writers, and it isn't decided by editors, and it certainly isn't decided by the companies who hold the IP. It's decided by the fans.
They decide what they want to go on.
Yeah, Batman and Superman have done any number of things that are completely all the different media that these characters have been represented in, all the different ways that they've done things that are quote unquote out of character. And ultimately fandom chose to ignore that and say, well, that's not canon because why? Because it doesn't ultimately represent the version of the character that we love. And that's fine. So if you don't like what they do with Ryan Reynolds or Michael Keaton or any actor or any character or any role or any decision that a writer made, that's fine. You know what? There's going to be somebody else come along that will do the version you like.
Do you know the name of the canceled Batman and Robin was so bad. Do you know the name of the canceled the movie that was going to come after that? The third Joel Schumacher Batman movie that did not get made because the two he made were so bad.
No.
It just sounds like it would have been a piece of shit. Batman Unchained.
Wow.
Yeah,
that just sounds like if you thought Batman and Robin was homoerotic.
Yeah, just
strap in or strap on for this wild and wet ride.
Yeah, that's whoever canceled that, thank you.
Yeah, so complaining that, I don't know, that somebody's going to ruin these characters. It's like saying that Metallica is ruining metal. No, Metallica is just making shitty music. There's still a lot of metal, good metal being made out there. It's just not popular enough for it to have come across your radar. If you're actually interested in metal, go dig a little bit. You'll find plenty of shit. It's never died. As a matter of fact, if you're interested in metal and you live anywhere that has a population of more than 10,000, you probably have a bar where you can catch some live acts.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Well, I know what you're saying.
About 4 months ago, but yes. There's, metal acts having Zoom shows right now.
Well, I've wondered, if you're in a band right now, how does that go? Everything's on the internet now, right? No more shows ever?
I can't even imagine. Entertainers, I don't even know.
Yeah, what? Garth Brooks is doing a drive-in concert.
That's secondary. They're solving racism right now. Okay, they can't be concerned with that.
That's right.
Look, I can't be concerned with when I'm going to be able to play in front of a live audience again. I have to consider how my voiceover acting career has affected racism in America. I know it sounds dismissive when I say it that way, but I mean, really, if it doesn't sound sound funny when you say it out loud like that, then I think your perspective's a little out of whack.
It's okay. We got a bunch of rich white people on this racism problem. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah, if we know one thing, it's that white people know how to solve problems. They're on it.
Yeah, a bunch of white people who don't live the lives of the average American are all on this racism thing. Right. They're going to figure it out.
I'm picturing Jenna Maroney and Tracy Jordan wearing the Solver's Problem shirts.
Yes, the problem. Yes.
Where they could never get it right.
Yes.
They're like, I think you guys should switch shirts. And they're like, yeah. And then they show up in the next scene. They're switch places as well as switch shirts, so it still didn't fix it. Anyway.
See, now we can't see her in Will Forte's version of Oh Holy Night anymore. when they were Black Lynn Swan.
Yeah. And the Dixie Chicks are just the chicks.
Yeah.
And the feminists are like, what the fuck?
Right. Well, no, but
now they're just the.
Yeah, no, we're just the.
What they should just call themselves are the Karens.
Right.
Right. The Dixie Karens. Oh, sorry, that's worse.
What's
the
that?
Karen. That doesn't work at all.
What did Alec Carolla say that Lady A has to change her name to? They A? I mean, shit, if we're just massively overcorrecting now, right? Oh, no.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
Did the fireworks take out your internet?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
No, I'm here. So in cannabis news, not much, huh?
Well, yeah, because it's pretty much at a standstill, right? Like, federal government's got bigger fish to fry right now. Or any government, really.
Although, there was a report from the United Nations that said that COVID-19 lockdowns are making the demand for cannabis skyrocket.
It's cheaper than antidepressants, even if you're paying rec prices. Yeah, people want more weed right now. Don't people also... Is it booze, too, still?
And also pointing out that it remains a drug that brings people in contact with the criminal justice system. Not as much as alcohol still, though.
Yeah.
If you want to meet a cop, you'd be better off drinking than smoking.
You heard it here first, everybody.
Yep. If you want to hang out with them for a little while, feel like, you know, what it's like to lose your shirt and ride around in a back seat made out of plastic.
And you can be on TV, but not anymore.
No, but I guess there's never an end to the bad opinions on cannabis.
What hot takes you got now?
Well, even though, you know, New Jersey's looking at, New Jersey's getting their shit together. They're getting, they've got not only a medical program now, but they said that they approve delivery.
Ooh.
Of medical marijuana in New Jersey. But there's a...
It's got to be sunset. Yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah. The sun's getting awful low, big fella. Time to light off the fireworks. So in New Jersey, in their New Jersey Cannabis Insider, is that where this is? On NewJersey.com, that's where this is. They ran an editorial saying marijuana industry is using tobacco's old tactics of preying on kids. Study says. This is by Susan Livio. And, of course, this has a picture of gummy bears that accompanies the story.
Why?
So we know what we're talking about here. They're talking about the edibles. And they're referencing a study that was released on JAMA entitled Assessment of an Incorporation of Lessons from Tobacco Control and City and County Laws Regulating Legal Marijuana in California. Right? If you're still awake after hearing the title.
Yeah.
To break that down, what that looks like is they looked at legal limits cities and counties have adopted since California legalized marijuana use for adults. Not sure how this applies to... there's got to be something in here. They're looking at widespread lifetime and adolescent use of marijuana. Here we go. Reaching 43% of 12th graders, 51% of 18 to 25-year-olds. So statistically, what they're saying in here is that that marijuana is just as popular as ever with the young kids, right?
Duh.
Yeah.
Kids like to get high. Get out of here.
Now, nowhere in their conclusions do they say that there is something that the cannabis industry or what they're doing in California was responsible for directly advertising their product to these kids. It was just that they were looking at who this was popular amongst, what groups of people are commonly doing this drug. So their proof that the cannabis industry is doing, quote, what the tobacco industry is doing is pure conjecture derived from the fact that this is popular with kids, or as popular as it ever has been. Their anecdotal evidence is, of course, the gummies, the fruity flavors, and we've talked about this. It's, look, adults are stunted, right? We like sweet stuff. We're immature. They're not making candy, sweet flavored products and gummy bears and brownies and shit like that because they want kids to try it. It's because that's what adults like too.
And it's also always clearly labeled. It's the logic in these articles always astounds me. It's just like it's the whole. It's what's her name? It's Reverend Lovejoy's wife. It's that attitude. Somebody please think of the children.
Well, yeah, but try and think like a child, or put yourself in the mind of a teenager, right? How do you think this actually plays out? That one teen says to another, some of our peers are doing this cannabis thing that I've been hearing about. The other one was like, yeah, but I heard drugs were whack and that they'll ruin your brain and, and then the first kid goes, yeah, but they make them in like fruit flavors and shit. So they must want kids to do it. And then the other kid goes, that's a good point. Let's try and get somebody to buy some edibles for us. Does that seem like a realistic conversation that two teenagers would have?
I had it every, Friday night when I was 16. No, does not.
Right. That's why, there's people look at advertising for kids. They look at advertising for 18 to whatever year olds. Teens, they're looking to influencers because they realize that they can't advertise. They've given up. They've tried advertising directly to teens, and they have to realize they had to cry uncle and be like, we have no idea what they want. Even if we give them exactly what they say they want, then they're like, well, you're just giving us what we said we wanted, and that's not what we want.
You have to tell teenagers what they want.
You can't tell teenagers. No, you cannot tell teenagers. You can tell kids what they want, not teenagers.
Oh, no, I think we do it with music all the time. Here, listen to this now. We've decided this is going to be the new thing.
No. How does that explain K-pop then? Kids are finding what they like.
Well, we're also talking about the world before the internet. Now it's game on. You have to compete with everything. Good luck.
No, yeah, but we are talking about kids now with the internet. Kids that were raised with this shit.
Well, now you just let the data tell you. Quite honestly.
Yeah, and the data says the same advertising is still working for certain groups. They just shifted their viewing time over to podcasts and YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. And with products that we're advertising to teens, we don't know. They're not. Well, all they're hoping for is here's an influencer that we can get to hawk our product. That's how we get through to the teens. We've tried crafting a message and designing things and trying to, make it look and feel like the thing that should relate to the teens, and they always reject it.
That is true.
And none of these teens are doing any of their drugs based on what any legal cannabis businesses do, the choices that they're making. They're not putting their drugs in a gummy bear form going nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah. No, they're still small. Like, our sister-in-law, prime example. She's 19. All she did when she was here was smoke regular weed or vaped it. But there is no nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah. Nobody is going to be sitting in NA and going, well, it was a slippery slope. First it started with Sour Patch Kids. And then somebody slipped some THC gummy bears in, and I found I liked that.
I couldn't stop.
What is your argument? that sugar is the gateway drug now?
Buying 6-7 gummies a day, man. It's crazy. You know, it's another way to sound the alarm bell when you think something's going to appeal to kids. Kids are easy victim, right? They're easy to. It's easy to trot them out.
Well, it's easy to victimize in their name because they don't care enough to even pay attention to what they're doing. Because they're like, oh, we're scared of what now? Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Can I get back to yeeting whatever it was I was yeeting? Whatever yeeting means.
Yeet? Oh, that's old.
It means to yeet. I know. That's the joke. Yeet that shit.
Yeah, can we go back to the days of YOLO? What the hell does yeet
No more
mean?
YOLO. No more YOLO or FOMO. It's FOGO.
Fear of... going out. Ah.
Yeah. Fear of going out. I don't have a fear of going out. I have a fear of going out like a bitch. Yeah, are you going to live in fear and wear a mask? No, I'm gonna be a tough guy and not let some fucking stupid virus take me out.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear a mask, go on about my day,
Right.
and continue staying. I was staying away from people before we were told to stay away from people, so I already got that checked.
You feel more secure wearing a gun on your hip. I feel more secure wearing a mask on my face. Are we living in fear? I guess to some degree, yes.
Well, if wearing a mask on my face means I can go out and just do what I used to do, count me in. I'm wearing a mask because I won't live in fear. I'm going to go out and do shit. I'm wash my hands. I'm going to wear a mask. And so fucking be it. Shit's going to happen. It's going to happen. No, also,
That's right.
I'm not going.
You're going to pick your friends. You're going to pick your nose after washing your hands, but you're not going to pick your friend's nose.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm not going.
Not even if you wash your hands.
I'm not going to any crowded indoor places. You're insane. The grocery store is enough for me. You ain't catching me bunching up in a bar or anywhere or a restaurant right now.
Yep, but you weren't before either. So
yeah, exactly.
Look, if I was 22 right now, I have no idea what I'd be doing or thinking.
It's true. That's all you wanted to do at 22 is go out.
But speaking of going out, no, we're not going out.
But we are.
Thought there would be some segue there.
Yeah, we are going to leave for this week. I keep feeling like we got to play this. You know, that stuff in the background. Like they got me. See? They know.
They heard you.
They got the ones that look like a cowboy hat. Oh. They got some audio here, your neighbors.
You're going to tell me that you don't have no black cats, no Roman candles, or screaming mimes?
No.
Oh, come on, man. You don't got no lady fingers, buzz buttles, snicker bombs, church burners, finger blasters, gut busters, zippity doo-dahs, or crap plasters?
No.
Finger blasters.
You're going to stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me you don't have no whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, hoosker do's, hoosker don'ts,
My favorite line.
lasers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser?
No. Because snakes and sparklers are the only ones I like.
It should be the state of Michigan. Anyway, you got a bonus fireworks show. Tonight's show. Probably get one next week, too. But thanks for listening at The Weisman 420 on Twitter, at The Weisman Podcast on Instagram, The Weisman Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net if you want to email, and go to ChristopherMedia.net. Click on the Amazon banner. Click on the PayPal button if you would like to help support us. You don't have to. We're keeping it free, but if you want to, it's there. And where do you listen to us? Everywhere. We're omniscient. If you can get a podcast, we're there, generally. ChristopherMedia.net, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker.com, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher. Pretty much, yeah. We're on all the players in the game, so to speak. So thanks for listening, and stay high.
Stay high. Playa.
Reinvent yourself at UCLA Extension. Explore continuing education programs to enhance and expand your skill set. Gain real-world skills taught by industry experts that you can apply immediately. Learn from anywhere and choose from a wide variety of online courses in entertainment, digital technology, business, engineering, and more. Winter Quarter begins January 4th. Learn more at uclaextension.edu.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.